From a secret underground bunker somewhere in the Arizona desert, 40 feet below the Earth's surface, two men, aided by their robotic artificial intelligence, Jennifer,
at your service.
hide from their wives and kids to discuss man stuff with interesting and unusual people. These men are the Bunker Boys.
A blunderbuss boy.
The flunky boy.
Okay, whatever you say. Yes, we are the Bunker Boys, a.k.a. Chris and Garth.
That's me.
Garth is you. That's right, I'm
That's
Chris.
me.
And together we fight crime throughout the land.
Yes,
No.
we do. Yeah,
Well,
right.
Okay, well, we don't
Fight
do that.
crime.
This
We cause crime.
This show's a crime. I
Oh,
think.
no, we
Crime to humanity. Well, thanks
Oh,
for joining
the
us.
humanity.
Down, boy, down. It's time to take your little chill pill. Well, we've got a show planned for you. Hope it's entertaining.
Yeah, we have a good one.
A good one.
We got a good one
Well, that was real
planned for you
country
folks.
of you. That's a good one. And we have our faithful sidekick, Jennifer. Jennifer, are you there?
Powering up.
Thank you.
Powering up, yeah.
Well, it's always good to power up, especially when you're running the whole show.
All systems online.
Thank you.
Perfect.
All right. Well, we're rocking and rolling. She just brought the heat up, which is good. And you're what? You're not loud enough?
No. Okay, now I could hear myself better. Thank you.
Okay. I turned it up just a tad.
Perfect.
All right. Jen is here with us, and she's our artificial intelligence because it's the only intelligence we have on this show. I'm just saying.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Present company
that one.
excluded. Didn't mean to throw you under the bus there.
That's all right. I'm used to it.
Okay. Well, hey, we have a lot of fun little stories to talk about. I've been reading a lot on the internet about different things that have been happening not only here, but in other countries.
Oh.
Like in the United Kingdom. So we'll talk about that.
Okay.
And I will talk a little bit about UFOs today because I'm on the Filer report. George Filer, who is a retired, I believe he's a retired major. I'll have to look. But he sends me a report once a month about some of the things that are happening in the Mutual UFO Network group and some of the things they have discovered. And it kind of ties in with what we talked about in one of our earlier shows about demons and UFOs. So I'm fascinated. We'll cover that. And he says we can share the material, so we're going to do that.
Oh, okay.
So there,
cool.
I'm sticking
All
to
right.
that. But first, we're going to start off with some fun things.
Oh, boy.
You know that oftentimes people will park in strange ways and not be kind and considerate of other folks.
Oh, I know how that is.
I know where I work full time, they've got parking spots that people never seem to get into the right way. And it drives me crazy. It's like, can't you see you're on top of the line or that you're over the line by 6 inches? It's wide
They don't
enough.
care.
I know. Why? Be considerate. Other people can't park if you don't get it right.
Maybe they can't see straight. That's why they park crooked.
Well, perhaps they shouldn't be driving then, is what I say.
I agree.
Just a thought. Well, anyway, what I've got today in front of us, and I've given you some of them, is some of the notes that people have left on cars when someone hasn't parked correctly. And some of them are pretty funny. And if you have any questions about some of the notes I jotted down there, just let me know, because I've got some blanks
Are
there.
you talking to me?
Yeah, I'm talking to you.
Are you talking to me?
I'm talking to you.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking to the people out there.
Well, there's only you, me, and Jennifer.
Well,
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
now I got to put my glasses on.
I know. Sorry. Hate to make
Okay,
you read.
well.
I mean, I can do it too. I can read it all if you want, but I thought it would be
here,
nice to
take 'em back.
share the blame.
Too many words.
I know. It's a lot. Well,
I'm reading this one here.
don't read
because-
ahead. You're cheating.
I know, but I'm just laughing because
It's funny.
this one is, yeah.
Yeah, some of these are pretty good. The first one, it shows a drawing of a stick figure man with a tie on, and he's standing there by a desk with a hot cup of coffee leaning on a cubicle wall. Again, this is all stick figure representation. And it says, yeah, if you could park in your own spot, that'd be great. Did you ever watch Office Space, the movie? There's a guy in there that's the general manager, and that's the way he talks. Yeah, why don't you come in on Saturday? Yeah, let's do that. And people would avoid him on Friday so that he wouldn't say that to them. Some of them would even crawl under their cubicles so he wouldn't see them. But if he saw him, he'd go, yeah, why don't you, and he always had a cup of coffee in his hand. Why don't you come in on Saturday?
That was a movie?
Yeah, Office Space. It's hysterical.
How old is that movie?
I don't know, maybe 10 years, maybe more. I'm not a good judge of time because I remember everything all jumbled because everything runs together for me. But I don't know, it's at least 10 years old, I would think. Yeah, why don't you come on in? Another one says, I don't know who you are. I don't know what you want. If you're looking to park further away, I can tell you I don't have more space. But what I do have are a very particular set of skills. Skills I've acquired over a long, very long life. Skills that make me a nightmare for people like you. If you pull up in your space, that'll be the end of it. I will not look for you. I will not pursue you. But if you don't, I will look for you. I will find you. And I will box you in.
Wow. He must be an old son of a gun, I guess, huh?
Well, that's from a movie. What was it called? It's I have a particular set of skills. Okay. Pick up
what
that
movie was that from?
I knew you'd ask me that. When I can't remember, you like to rub it in, right?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, punk. That's what I like about you, like my brother. Oh, incidentally,
when is he coming up?
He'll be coming in the next couple of weeks, and when he gets here, we'll put him on the show. I'm sure he'll have plenty of truck driving stories to tell.
Oh, I'm sure he does.
He can tell me all sorts of fun stuff, and the things that drives him crazy. All right, pick it up on that dear guy.
Dear guy.
Third one down.
Oh, dear guy, you parked like a jerk. Why? Cut it out.
Why? Cut it out. General public. Go ahead and do the next two there.
No. Is your name Katrina? Because this parking job's a disaster. People really put these on?
Yeah, these are real notes on real windshields. They stick the notes on the windshield.
Now, this one's kind of weird. Hey, I just met you, and this is crazy, but quit blocking our driveway. A hat? Hat?
No, it was ASS hat.
Oh.
I just blanked it out. Oh, here's another one. Dear A.H., thank you for taking up more space than your self-important personality really deserves. I hope you crash and learn your lesson. Bob.
That's what I tell people out here.
I hope you crash and learn your lesson.
That fly up and down this dirt road that they should only be doing 15 on, that do 50 and 60.
Hey, A.H.
I hope your wheels fall off and you run into a tree.
That's cool. But don't ask me to help you pull it out of the tree.
Exactly. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's all right.
Oh, dear A.H.?
No, I just did that one.
Oh, here, this one here. It's hard to see in here. We're down in a dungeon, folks.
I know. Sorry.
We only have like two little lights.
There's a desk lamp there.
Well, that's not going to do nothing for me over here.
Well, pull it over.
Okay, it says, the way you pulled in makes me
wish your dad would have done the opposite.
Oh, jeez.
Okay. That's horrible, but it's funny.
It is. That it is. Thanks for always parking across the path. It gives me the chance to be a movie star and slide across your hood now and then. Try it. It's awesome. I don't blame the guy for that one.
Yeah.
Now, why would that guy keep parking across the path that people walk on every day?
It would drive me crazy.
Yeah.
No
wonder why the guy slides across his hood. Yeah, whoo-hoo.
He probably doesn't, but he just said he did, just to make him angry.
I would.
Might have said it, but I don't know if I'd have done it. Here's another one. When you park like a tool, you make people mad. When you make people mad, they write you notes. When they write you notes, they're wasting their time. When they waste their time, they get more mad. Or is it madder? Now they're doubting their grammar. Don't make people doubt their grammar. Don't park like a tool. I like that one. Here's the next one. Thanks for being so rude by parking in the space that I shoveled out for my family.
That's a bad one.
Yeah, oh, I would be so angry. It's like you spent 45 minutes shoveling snow out of a driveway and somebody pulls in and takes it from you. You punk. I'm just registering my complaint with whoever that idiot was. Oh, here's another one. It was a coloring book picture. In the center of the page, there was a little turtle. You know, that
little turd.
Little turtle that kids could color, you know, very simple, real thick lines. You can't mistake it. And it says, many 3-year-olds have trouble staying within the lines. Maybe if you're practicing coloring this turtle, it will help you with your parking.
Ooh.
Here's another one. Written in white shoe polish on the right passenger window of a badly parked vehicle. Learn to park, Helen Keller.
Ooh. Helen Keller.
You got to hand it to the creativity of these people. Some of them are pretty good.
Yeah.
And I hold in my hand the last one.
Yay!
That was almost in harmony. Some people go to the expense of making business cards with many parking issues listed on them and little check boxes that are blank that you can check for the offending offense. And they check mark them, and along with a little nasty message as to why they got the card, and they stick that on people's windshield. They actually buy cards.
Right.
I think that's pretty funny.
I've seen them before.
Really? Mm-hmm. Hey, knucklehead, get out of my space. Well, that leads me into the stories that we have garnered from across the pond. These next few stories came from Great Britain, the UK. All right? These all made news. A little boy got trapped in an elevator after peeing on the control panel.
Oh, well, it serves his butt right.
Exactly. So he got trapped, stuck on the elevator.
Was he the only one on there?
He was the only one on there, yeah. Otherwise, he would be showing off, I think. Well, his parents had argued with the folks that said that he did something wrong. Said, you know, you have to pay for this. They said there is no way that kid could even urinate that high because it was up a few inches, you know, like...
Well, what was the kid doing on there by himself in the first place?
He lives in the building.
Oh.
So he was taking the elevator up. But he peed on the controls. So as they're arguing about it with his parents, the parents said, we're not paying for that. There's no way that boy could reach that height with urine. So they said, okay, you want to see the video? So there's video of him.
Got red-handed.
Yep, it's funny. I saw a still from the video, and he sure as heck hit the controls. So I guess he learned his lesson there.
Good. Yeah, kids have a lot of power in that situation.
They do. Yeah. Well, parents sometimes side with the kid no matter what.
Yes,
now,
they have to. That's why they're parents.
Well, they don't have to if they know that their son might be ornery, you know. Like mine, I know I can trust my kid, but I also know his personality and what triggers he uses to make people angry or the things that he normally does with us. Even though he has no siblings, we know what he's like. So,
who came up with that word, siblings?
And what does it mean?
Who knows? I guess it means brother and sister.
Well,
but why don't you just say brothers and sisters?
Yeah, I know. Sib. Where does that come from? What root word?
These weird people anymore.
Sibling.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's like a sapling, I think. A young tree.
That's a little tree.
Yeah. Okay, this next story is about a train ride people took. And they usually take the train to go to work and home. This is one of those workaday trains. And
workaday trains.
Okay, whatever. So they get on the train and they leave from work at 5:30 in the evening, and some of them ride an hour or two to get home, which is crazy.
That's a long time.
Yeah, but usually between 30 minutes and an hour is a typical ride for people. And there were 20 people or so that got trapped in a snowstorm in England on this train. The train does not sell anything. It doesn't have water. It does have toilets, I guess, so it would have some sort of water, but not drinking water per se. And so the people, being the kind of Englanders they were, decided to make a party of it, because what else could they do?
Right. I don't blame them.
They didn't get angry. They didn't get upset. They just said, we're stuck here. Let's make fun. So they started singing songs, and they started trading sandwiches. People that had extra food or that weren't hungry, they were offering people crackers and cookies. One guy had homemade cookies that his wife had made and shared them with everybody on the train. And then word got out, because people could hear them singing and having a good time. The conductor, who couldn't even drive the train, came back and he partied with them too. So they sat there for 13 hours
Holy mackerel.
Partying and talking to each other and telling stories and having a good time. And then they got word that the train could move again. And everybody was ready to go home, of course. And they just made the best of it. There was no arguing. There was no fighting. People were in great spirits. And they just had a party.
Yeah, try that in the USA.
Well, it can happen. But that was cool. People just had fun. Boy, you hear the wind out there?
Yes, I do.
Wow, the wind feeder tunnels are taking on a lot of
The
gusts.
wind feeder tunnels?
Well, the airflow tunnel.
Airflow, yeah.
Whatever it is, I can never
Those big
remember.
old tubes that we installed 40 feet down.
It took a lot of us to get those tubes installed. But anywho,
Tubular, dude.
totally tubular. Here's another part of that story. You know, a lot of the train stations in England charge to go to the bathroom. And
They do?
Yeah, they do. And it's 50p, which is their penny, basically, 50 cents. And they said it's 50p to take a wee. And people were not happy about that, but they paid it because they had to, unless they wanted to go somewhere else and try to find a corner that wasn't occupied and pee there. But
Well, if you were a pregnant lady, you could pee anywhere.
in England,
Right,
that's the law.
right.
So even in a Bobby's helmet,
Bob, you're right.
apparently that happened once.
We talked about that
Yeah,
before.
that's right. It was a law made in England.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. That's what this show is about. The back and forth.
It is?
Yeah,
Oh,
of course.
a
Silly,
horse. What'd you say? A horse?
silly rabbit.
Oh,
Kicks her for trids.
no.
Anyway, they charge 50 cents to go to the bathroom. And no one likes
That's
to
outrageous.
pay. Can you imagine being an 80-year-old woman trying to dig through your purse for change and you've got to go like you got to go? Well, when that happens, it's all over because it's too late. You can't find that extra
Well, yeah.
quarter. Well, anyway, they decided that after they made so much money, they are going to stop charging now for that. But last year, well, actually the last 4 years, the Network Rail Line earned 20.3 million pounds. That's, of course, their dollar.
Right.
20.3 million pounds from their 50-cent bathroom charges.
That's a lot of peeing.
That's a lot. Well, there's other things involved, too. Just saying. And last year, just the last singular year they did this, they
What
made...
did you just say?
I'll say it again. The last singular year, they made 4.8 million pounds alone.
Wow.
So that's how much money people can make.
That's a lot of poundage.
Yes, but when you think about why they're making it, it's such a crime.
It is.
It's like, I got to go to the bathroom. I don't want to pay 50 cents so I can... You know, you're lucky I don't pee on your floor if I have to go that bad. Mm-hmm. Offer me a way to go. Well, anyway, there's that. And, of course, being men and having acres and acres of property like we do up here, we can go anywhere. The world is your bathroom. Mm-hmm. That's what I tell my wife. She goes, just don't do that right in front of the house, okay? So what difference does it make? It's going to go into the ground. No one's even going to know. It'll dry up in no time, I promise. And the plants will love it, right?
Right.
Is there any strangeness to my logic there?
Right.
My wife told you to say that, didn't she?
Left.
Yes. So if you're in England, no more worries about the network.
Turlets, yeah.
Yeah, the Network Rail Line charging you money to go pee. 50p to pee.
That's outrageous, actually. They got to make money somehow.
Yeah, well, people were crawling under doors and whatnot until they made the doors so low to the floor you couldn't do that.
What?
Yeah, they were crawling under the doors. When we were kids, if we went to some place that had that, that's what my parents said, just crawl under the door. And we would.
Wow. What kind of doors were they? Even doors? What were
Toilets. They were stalls. The doors were
they?
locked.
Oh, so
until
you had to put the money in a machine to get into the door.
Oh, yeah.
I thought, okay, well,
That's how you paid.
I thought there was somebody standing at the door and taking
no.
50 cents.
No, they would get too much backlash, verbal backlash from that. They wouldn't put somebody there.
Because in England, they always have somebody studious.
Here's
Here's a tissue.
here's some cologne. Mm-hmm. Here, dab this on. I'm not paying for that.
Tell you how.
And then stand out there with their hand out for a tip, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Why
think
not?
so. I always go, hey, give you $5, dude.
Tip this.
Tip this. I just went to the bathroom. I don't need your cologne or your towel. I'll use the paper towels in the machine. Thank you.
Like you see in the movies and stuff. I've never been to one of these high class restaurants or anything like that. They have the person standing in the bathroom in their tuxedo with the towel.
Oh yeah, I've been to a few of those.
And you walk in there and you do your thing. They hand you a towel and then you have to give them a tip. Mm-hmm. Oh, blow it out your... That's ridiculous.
I like that little sound you made right after blow it out your... Okay, and here's my final story from the UK. Greg's over there is a pastry store. They make donuts and cakes and sugar-filled treats.
Greggy?
Yes, and they have these big trucks that deliver to all their stores, and they deliver them fresh. And if it's so many days old, they can't sell it for fresh. So what they, well, in this instance, it worked out well for this driver. Snowstorm, same snowstorm that stopped that train, stopped the freeway for hours and hours. And people were stuck there, and he was driving a truck full of pastries. So he called his home office, and he says, hey, these aren't going to be fresh by the time I deliver them. Would it be okay to hand them out to the drivers on the road and, make friends with people? And they said, that's a great idea. So they told him to go ahead and do it, and he got pressed for it, which is like the best free advertising you can get. And so he gets out of the truck, and he walks down through all these cars, and he's waving at people. He's carrying boxes of donuts, and he's offering all the drivers and their occupants donuts and cakes and pastries. And then there were so many drivers stuck on the freeway, hundreds, that he had a guy help him, and he enlisted a few other people, and they were walking down the road handing out donuts and cakes.
Singing doo-wah-diddy?
Yep, doo-wah-diddy, diddy-dum, diddy-doo. Did he do? He sure did.
He did dumb.
He did, and it wasn't dumb. It was a good, smart ploy. So they got tons of press out of it on the telly, and it worked out well for all those stranded because they got to eat free donuts and pastries.
For 13 hours?
I don't know if that part was 13 hours. It might have been close. But they were stuck, and it was cold, too.
Oh, I bet it was.
Too bad they didn't have chocolate or hot chocolate or coffee. That'd have gone well with those pastries.
They would have made a mint.
Yep. Mint.
Uh-huh. Chocolate mint.
Wow. Cream to mint. What do you think of that, Jen?
Yes.
Oh, I got a double whammy on that one. Okay, I think next I want to talk about the Filer report and read some of the stuff that's on it. And some of it I disagree with and some of it I don't. Jennifer?
Yes, Master.
Can you bring that report up, please?
Sending to display now.
Thank you. All right, now this concerns UFOs and spiritual beings. There are those of us that believe that UFOs are a little more than what they appear. And the reason being is because they do things that aren't normal or natural. There are a set of laws that the universe abides by. Gravity is one of them. And how inertia works when you're throwing something in a circle, like your centrifugal force, or centripetal force is the real term. And that works the same across the entire planet, whether you're up in the air or down on the ground. And we see these UFOs that make these massive 90-degree turns just in a split second, and they don't even slow down. And that's not possible. So if we're seeing it, it's either an optical illusion or it's not real matter that's doing it. It's something spiritual in nature. And that's what my argument is on these things. I think they are spiritual manifestations that are taking place by demonic entities. They can do whatever they want because they're not in the physical world. They're only here when they want to be. Just like the Bible says about spirits, they can manifest as a man, as a thing, as an animal, and then turn back into spirit material and vanish. So they can take any form, basically. So that's why you said when you saw UFOs, you've seen some take those real sharp turns.
I never said that.
You never said that? You're pulling my leg.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, so, that would explain a human being would not be able to survive in an aircraft that made a 90-degree turn like that.
Oh, yeah, you get crushed against the wall.
Yeah, you'd be pulled so many G's that you'd die. There's just no way, especially at the speeds they've been clocked at. When you saw yours, how fast would you say that was going?
Fast.
Regarding a plane couldn't possibly do a speed of that nature, right? Yeah. So Filer is a retired military man. His first name is George. He was a major, and he is the MUFON Eastern Regional Director. And MUFON is the Mutual UFO Network. They're the folks that investigate and take reports of flying saucers or unidentified objects. And anything that's unidentified and in the air, they investigate. So he's a firm believer in it. He is a Christian man, based on what I've read. He believes that God created not only human beings, but other beings as well. And he's right. According to the Bible, that's what it says. But he believes differently than I do, that God may have created other people of various sorts. I don't believe that. I think we're the only people that God ever created. But as far as beings, there are other beings, but we're the only human beings. He obviously created angels, and those were around before we were. But they talk a little bit about that in this report, and I just wanted to read some of it. Now, I'll point out the part that I don't agree with, but it says, "Are some aliens spirits? Spiritual beings are those entities who are now in a higher dimensional realm following the death of their physical body." Okay, that's true. "Such as human souls and ascended masters." Well, I don't believe in ascended masters. Those are phonies. Those are demons pretending to be something that they're not. They also talk about human souls. Well, human souls go to a special place. They go to be with God before judgment. They're not here, and they never are allowed to return. And the proof of that is what we see in the Bible when the story of Saul is told, where Saul consulted the witch at the city of Endor, and he goes there to talk to his dead brother because this witch or spiritual person thinks that she can contact the dead, and she's convinced that she can, and other people are too, and they hear things that they think are from their dead relative, but really they're masquerading demons that are portraying themselves to be the people that these folks are trying to contact. So what I mean by that is sometimes they mimic the voice of the person that died. Demons have been around for probably zillions of years before man ever got here, and they have enough of them out that are roaming the earth that they can follow you around and know your family history or know private things that are said between two individuals. Could be something there listening to you, and all it takes is one to hear what you've said, and then they can say, "Here's the something secret that Aunt Martha said to you," because they were there. They know what she said. So it's kind of interesting, the theory.
I don't have an Aunt Martha.
Would you like one?
But you're looking at me and saying, "No, I didn't."
No. But what I'm getting at is that demons masquerade as other people, and they can imitate voices. They can make themselves appear like someone else and look like somebody else. Whatever they want. They're spiritual material. And we don't quite understand that, but the Bible helps us to understand it because it describes the truth and what demons can and cannot do. They are very powerful, but real demons are actually the half-breed offspring of fallen angels. The fallen angels came here, they're spirit material. They took physical bodies and made earth women pregnant, and the offspring of that pregnancy are the demons that are in the spiritual realm. What happens is those that died, their spirit was released, and it stays here on earth because there's no plan for them. God didn't have any plan to create them, and they were kind of like bastard offspring of angels, and they're going to be destroyed in the end of the world anyway. God's going to destroy them all. So while they're here, they're released from their bodies, but they can't go to be with God because they're stuck here. So that's what a demon is. It's actually a half-breed offspring of fallen angels that had died. And when they die, their spirit's released and it stays on earth. And they can't go anywhere.
Poor things.
Now, when we die, we go to be with God until judgment. And that's where we are until judgment day. That's my understanding of it. So, I disagree with this. The ascended masters, I don't believe in them. I don't. Anybody that comes to you and says they're an ascended master is a demon, because they're trying to control your life and trying to manipulate you and trying to get you to do things that are anti-God to separate you from the truth. And the truth is all about God.
What kind of masters are they?
Ascended, which means raised.
Got it.
So they think that they're people that died and they've come back over and over again to relive a life over and over so that they can be great and wise, which is a bunch of poppycock.
Mm-hmm.
There is no such thing as an ascended master, I'm here to tell you. That's the truth.
Well, I'm glad you're here to tell us.
So if you're talking with an ascended master, you're talking with a demon, and you want to get rid of that right away. Speaking of which, I have a bit of a story to tell you.
Yep.
A friend of mine talked to me just yesterday, and he was talking to me about, I don't know how we got onto the subject, because this is not something I normally talk to him about, but he said, Chris, I had a weird experience. He says, my wife keeps seeing this shadowy figure in our house.
Uh-oh.
And they just had a little baby. And he says, I live with my grandmother, and we stay in one room of the house, and my grandmother sees this thing and talks to it all the time. She thinks it's her guardian angel. He said, but my wife has seen it, and it looks evil. He goes, that's not a guardian angel. I said, you're right, it is not. And I said, does it say anything to you or anything? And he said, no. But he said, it does talk to my grandma. That's spooky.
Yes, it is.
And his grandmother doesn't want to get rid of it because she thinks it's somebody that's trying to help her. So she kind of likes having it around.
Well, how old is this guy?
He's in his 20s.
Oh, so his grandma's in her 60s probably, maybe 70s.
Maybe 70s,
yeah.
But he said they had just moved in there with her, and he and his wife and their baby trying to save some money because I think they want to buy a house. But he was concerned about that. I said, well, you should be. And I said, you need to get rid of that thing.
No, did you just say she moved in with them or they moved in with her?
Well, they moved in with her.
Okay, so
they
she's
lived
been
together.
at this house.
It's her house.
Okay.
Yeah, she owns the house. So it's her house, therefore she has the authority with the demonic entity. If she commands it to leave, and of course she has to command it in the name of Jesus Christ, then it will leave. But if she chooses not to, and she likes having it around, it won't be able to bother my friend and his wife if they tell it to stay away. But it'll be around.
How or why does the wife say it looks evil?
I don't know. I guess she can see it, but I guess she gets a feeling from it.
If it's just a shadow, how evil can a shadow look?
I don't know if she can.
Unless it's flying around with a cape or what have you, you know?
Well, what imagination you have.
Well, I'm just...
I'm kidding.
It looks evil.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't get a detailed explanation of that. But she thinks it looks evil some way. I don't know if she can see a face or if she just sees a total shadow. But he said it's a shadowy figure, so I'm assuming you can't really see detail on it.
Exactly.
But some people report seeing shadowy figures that have glowing eyes of either bright green or bright red. I've heard of that.
Well, now, when I saw my little entity or whatever I saw, remember I told it was on one of the previous shows.
Right.
I could see every detail. It looked like a regular man. It looked like Howdy Doody.
Howdy Doody.
I'm not kidding.
You wouldn't have laughed when you saw Howdy Doody?
Well, and it...
I mean, it would be spooky to see Howdy Doody flying over your bed.
Well, kind of... Well, that's what it reminded me of, because it was wearing a checkered shirt and blue jeans, and, you know, we're out in the middle of nowhere out here, and they used to send people out here to cut wood.
Oh, so maybe it's somebody that's looking like a woodcutter that worked out here.
You know?
Did he have a kerchief around his neck?
I don't remember that, but
But
all I remember is a checkered shirt and blue jeans and kind of reddish hair.
Huh. But he was a real person.
It looked
face,
like a real person face.
not a doll.
And then when I was swinging at it, remember I told you?
Punched it, yeah.
I was swinging at it, and the face was going...
Distorting.
Moving. Right.
So everywhere you punched, it distorted.
Right.
That's wild.
Isn't it?
I've never heard of anybody touching a ghost or a spirit.
That's what happened to me.
Did you feel anything when you swung?
No.
It just didn't feel cold or...
No.
You just felt air.
I just felt air, and
Did
like I said, when I first woke up, it was on the headboard looking over me.
Looking down at you.
Right.
Like a falcon.
Right. Looking over me. And I closed my eyes and I went, what the? Open them back up again, and now it's on my chest, over my chest, looking down on me, and I'm like, what's first instinct you get? Start swinging.
Yeah.
Get this, what in the heck is this? Start swinging. I'm like, whoa. It didn't make any noise or
No
anything.
noise at all?
No.
Did it smile or?
No.
It's just standing
Well, it
there.
all happened so fast. Well, it wasn't standing. It was kneeling over me on my chest, basically, looking down at me.
As if it were sitting on your chest.
Right.
Wow.
But I didn't feel any pressure.
Huh.
Is right. But then I remember I told you, Jesus Christ, Jesus Christ, Jesus Christ, go back to the light. Go to the light. Go to the light. You don't belong here. And right out the window it went.
I don't know why people say go to the light.
I don't know either, but that's what I was told to say when I was younger, if anything like that ever would happen.
Huh. Yeah, because the light's got nothing to do with it.
Well, the light, when you die, I guess you see the light.
Well,
You're
some
supposed to
people
go
do,
to the
yeah.
light.
But see, you're assuming that was a dead person, that was a spirit on the earth. But
There you
But
go.
they're not dead people. They're
I don't
demons.
know. Who knows? But
I say, just get out of here.
that's all I see and saw.
Yeah. See and saw? You see saw?
I saw a lot.
Well, anyway, Filer's report continues, and it says...
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. I digressed on this one. It says, those entities who are non-human, higher dimensional beings, such as extraterrestrials, as well as beings who do not require a physical body or who do not normally incarnate, such as angels, demons, archangels, and Elohim, etc.
Elohim.
Yeah, that's it's a plural name for angelic spirit. I don't know. I do know. These things are not what this guy just said. They're demonic entities. Now, he does go on to talk about light orbs, and I told you about my experience with the light orb here on the property. Well, actually, it wasn't on my property or over it. It was over the neighbors, and it was not far from my place. And it says here that lights and orbs are frequently reported by witnesses even inside their homes. Sometimes negative and even evil occurrences are reported, such as abductions and the stealing of bodily fluids and DNA. A certain group of aliens allegedly are not friendly, and many religious leaders of numerous religions report we are wrestling with demonic powers. That's my point. It says demonic possession is believed to be the process by which individuals are possessed by malevolent, preternatural beings, commonly referred to as demons or devils. Possession of evil spirits among humans often result in various types of criminal activities. Dr. Richard Gallagher, or is it Gallagher? I don't know. It's probably Gallagher, is an Ivy League educated, board-certified psychiatrist who teaches at Columbia University and New York Medical College. He was part of the team fighting Satan's minions. He proudly calls himself a man of science. Yet today, Gallagher has become something else, the go-to guy for a sprawling network of exorcists in the United States. He says demonic possession is real. He's seen the evidence, victims suddenly speaking perfect Latin when they didn't know how to speak it before, sacred objects flying off shelves, people displaying hidden knowledge or secrets about people that they could not have possibly known. And he says that there was one woman who was like 90 pounds soaking wet threw a Lutheran deacon who was about 200 pounds across the room. He says that's not psychiatry. That's beyond psychiatry. And he's right.
I agree.
Filer's report also says some ET visitors can move through walls and become invisible or become small orbs. So that ties the orbs, the UFOs, and aliens all together. It says, I do not know if some aliens are part of the demonic supernatural world. Paul of the Bible was not an adherent of the contemporary materialistic model of our universe, where people deny the existence of a spiritual realm. For Paul, there clearly was a realm where demons or ghosts walked the earth and harassed people. We know this because Paul had cast a demon out of a girl in Philippi in Acts 16. He had also seen many evil spirits come out of people in Ephesus in Acts 19, verses 11 through 12. Science is not aware of why many people commit murder, rape, robberies, etc. Many criminals claim the devil made them do it. So Paul further describes an upper-level order of evil spirits in heavenly places, stating in Ephesians 10, "Finally be strong in the Lord and in the strength of his might. Put on the whole armor of God, that you may be able to stand against the schemes of evil. For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the cosmic powers over this present darkness, against the spiritual forces of evil in heavenly places. Therefore take up the whole armor of God, that you may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all, to stand firm. Stand therefore, having fastened on the belt of truth, and having put on the breastplate of righteousness, and having fitted your feet with the readiness of the gospel of peace. In all circumstances take up the shield of faith, with which you can extinguish all the flaming darts of the evil one." And by the evil one, he's referring to Satan or Lucifer. Lucifer is his name. Satan is who he is. And then take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God, praying at all times in the Spirit with all prayer and supplication. So Paul, even back in biblical days, encountered evil spirits, and he used the power of Jesus to dispel them. So evil spirits have been around a long time, and I suspect that the fall that is described in the Bible, where the fallen angels, the ones that tried to rebel against God in heaven, were cast out and thrown down to this planet. And Lucifer became the king of this planet because God gave it to him until Christ returns and takes it back. And he's going to do so with vengeance. And he's going to wipe out everything with fire. And those that are faithful to God during this time and the time after will get everlasting life and come back and then judge the angels, because they're powerful. There's a story in the Bible that this one angel slew like 13,000 people in an army that were attacking God's people, and he just wiped them out with a flaming sword. One angel, 13,000 people. That's amazing. So they are quite powerful, even the evil ones. So you can't eliminate them with your own power, but through the power of God you can. And through prayer and faith in Jesus as to who he is, he's the master of all the angels. He says jump and they say how high.
Wow.
If he says die, they're dead. But you have the authority through him, as long as you believe in God, that you can dispel demons. Now, I wouldn't want to go up against a demon. I just read a book on exorcism, and this priest was talking about a lot of I think there were 4 case studies that he discussed in the book that he actually had personal knowledge of. And he talked about the very ways that people get possessed, all sorts of different ways, sometimes even through people's egos. They want to become famous, so they do things that are terrible, and some of them even sell their soul.
Right.
There's a story about an old blues player that supposedly met the angel of Lucifer at a crossroads. That's what that old blues song, Crossroads, is about. Eric Clapton did a cover of it. And it's about this guy that sold his soul to Satan so that he could be a famous guitar player.
Wonder where he is now.
Well, he's dead, so I presume he's not going to be going to heaven if he sold his soul.
That's what I mean. I wonder where he is now.
Yeah.
Nobody knows, do they?
Nope. Nobody knows.
Nobody knows nothing. Back to you, Arthel.
Yeah, but it's interesting. Continuing on with the report here, he says, science is discovering dozens of invisible radio and TV signals. Radar, Wi-Fi, yin and yang, grid energy and solar and cosmic radiation, electromagnetic waves, fluorescence, gamma radiations, photons that are...
Gamma run.
Oh, that's the turtle, the flying turtle. Oh boy, that's going back a few years.
Isn't it?
Gamaron. The flying turtle, Godzilla. But anyway, these photons and all these waves are penetrating our homes right now as we speak. Not to mention RF energy that's emitted while using a cell phone. So we know of telepathic energy. There's likely numerous types of invisible waves, rays, germs we have not yet discovered. He says, I have worked with dozens of abductees, and I'm convinced there are cosmic powers who some call ET and aliens. Perhaps Paul was far more understanding than we realize. Some of these invisible forces could affect the brain and cause damage or desire to accomplish crimes. And that's a fact. Jesus himself dispelled some demons of a man that was living in a cave for years. I don't know if it was on Patmos or some other island, but he went with some of the disciples to this one area, this one town, and he went by way of boat. And when he got there, this guy was causing a ruckus. He came out of the cave and he was possessed. And Jesus asked him who he was, talking to the spirits. And the spirits said, "We are legion," which means we're an army. We're more than one. So he had a lot of demons. And Jesus cast them all out. That's that famous story about him casting them into the pigs. They said, "Well, we want a body. We want to possess a body." And he said, "Okay." And they asked, "Can we go into the pigs?" He said, "Yes." So they got into the pigs and left the man. And then the pigs committed suicide. They went suicide. They ran off a cliff and killed themselves and drowned in some body of water.
Isn't that something?
Yeah. It's funny that demons want a body. I find that interesting. But I think it stems back to what they really were. They were born as human beings that were half demonic, half human. And when they died, their souls were released. So they feel weird. They're not in a body anymore. They don't know what to do with themselves. Because they feel better in a body, even if it's an animal body, they'd rather have that than nothing. That's my theory.
Oh, and you're sticking to it, aren't you?
I am. So thank you, George Filer, for the Filer report and that bit of information.
Thank you, George.
That was really cool.
Yeah, that is. It's pretty different.
All right, Jennifer, we're just about ready to wrap things up. So you can shut off the lights downstairs.
Powering down.
Thank you. It's time now for an interesting fact from Uncle Garth.
Yeah, did you know 2/3 of the people on Earth have never seen snow?
Is that right?
Yep. 2/3 of the people on Earth have never seen snow. Your mom's or your
My
wife's
mother-in-law.
mother.
Yeah. She had never seen it until this past year.
Right. And that was 80 years. She's 80 years old.
Yep.
Isn't that something?
Yeah. And she was raised in China and then, actually Hong Kong. And then here.
Well, doesn't it snow in Hong Kong?
I don't know. I guess not.
Well,
I don't know.
China's up by Siberia, isn't it?
Well, it's some parts of China. I mean, China's huge.
Oh, I know.
So is the United States. You could say, does
South
it snow in the
Korea and
United
North
States?
Korea get snow.
Yeah.
And all those.
It depends on where you are, I suppose.
Maybe she just closed her eyes when it snowed.
Well, she wasn't in China proper. She was in Hong Kong, which is kind of outside mainland China. It was co-owned by the British, but they didn't stop the snow.
It was a co-op.
It was a co-op. But yeah, 2/3. That's amazing. Well, that leads us into the end theme.
Simply amazing.
Simply amazing, I tell you. Well, thanks for listening. We appreciate you being
thank you
there.
very much.
And Garth's got to go. He only had a small window permission slip from the wife because he's cooking tonight.
I'm cooking tonight.
What are you cooking?
I'm going to rotisserie a chicken.
You are? Mm-hmm. That sounds good. Do you braise it with anything or put anything on it?
Braise it? No.
Or whatever you call that.
I brine it first.
Brine it?
I brine it in sugar and salt and a little bit of slap your old mama.
Okay.
You know what slap your mama is?
It's a hot sauce?
Yeah, it's powder, hot powder.
Okay. Very good.
And I brine it for 24 hours, take it out, rinse it off, stick it on the skewer, and cook it.
Excellent. Well, we're going to have to wrap things up, and I want to hear some recipes next time.
You got it.
That sounds good. He is an excellent cook. I have to tell
Recipe
you.
for disaster, you mean?
Yes, sir. A recipe. Well, you all have a good one until next week, and we will talk to you then. These are the stories of the Bunker Boys. I'm Chris.
I'm Garth.
And we'll think of something more interesting to say next time.